Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another Ask Me Monday. So my name is Derek from Simnett Nutrition, and Ask Me Mondays are a series of videos I do on Mondays where I answer some commonly asked questions and some not so commonly asked questions that I get from the comment section down below. So I usually cover topics on health, nutrition, on veganism, on calisthenics, bodybuilding, weightlifting, getting out in nature, lifestyle kind of things. So if you have any questions on those topics, definitely let me know in the comments down below and ask them there. Hashtag them AMM and I'll try and get to them for next week's episode. So I've been in this forest once before to film an Ask Me Monday, and there's actually like a really cool sort of lake marsh sort of thing in like right in the middle of it. So we'll see if I can find that again. The trails look a lot different than last time I was in here, but that tends to happen. All right, so I've got the questions on my phone as usual, and here we go. So this one from Nikki Johnson, this is an appropriate one for right now. How do you combat SAD, seasonal affective disorder? I live in the Pacific Northwest and it can be really rough at this time of year. Any advice? So the Pacific Northwest, as a lot of you guys probably know already, is the northwest corner of North America. So that's like British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. And we get pretty bad weather. So bad that it makes bridges look like this after a little while. Holy smokes. Alright, so yes, seasonal affective disorder. That is definitely like a real thing, and I feel it. I've actually been feeling it worse this year than I have in other years. Usually I just like plow through it, no problem, but I have been feeling a little bit down this year. So here are some things that I've been doing that might help you. And one of the main ones is obviously exercise. Exercise is a huge one. Just keep your body moving, whether it be in the gym or outside. Just continued exercise, because as we know, it releases endorphins, makes us feel good, but also just getting out into nature. Like I say, gear up, get some good equipment, and just get out there and explore, find some new trails you've never been on before, and just get out there and do it anyways. And the nice thing about being in the Pacific Northwest is the forests are still super green, even in the darkest months. There's like moss all around and tons of ferns and everything, and lots of mushrooms and different things to see. So just get outside as much as you can, even though a lot of the time you don't feel like it. I guarantee once you get back, you'll say, man, that was so worth it, and you'll feel better afterwards. So I know mornings really suck if you have to get up super early for work or whatever, and it's like still dark outside and you can hear the rain and everything. And like one thing that I know helps a lot of people are those lights that are like alarm clock lights, where you set the time for when you want to get up and the light starts to slowly get brighter and brighter, you know, closer to your time of waking, and that way you actually see the light through your eyelids, and it sort of triggers your body to think that the sun is rising, and you will start to come out of your sleep more naturally, and it'll be a lot easier to like get up in the morning, and you'll feel a lot better rather than like waking up to some like annoying alarm clock sound. That is like the absolute worst. Oh man, how am I gonna get through here? Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. And I definitely did not wear the right footwear today. So we definitely have to mention vitamin D. So there's definitely not enough sun in the sky right now for our body to produce enough vitamin D from the sun's rays. So I would say supplement it if you have no other option. If you can get away and you can go on vacation, that is like the absolute best thing to do, but I know that's not always possible. Man, it would be so nice to go somewhere warm right now, but instead I'm doing this. Man, that was a good little game of don't touch the lava. Man, it is so lush in here. Look at this. It's like they could film like Lord of the Rings or something in here. It's pretty beautiful. So another thing that I do in the wintertime is to come up with like different projects and stuff. Like you gotta get that dopamine release that we get from like being outside in the sun and in the summertime and having fun and playing ball and splashing in the water and all that sort of stuff. So we gotta find some sort of way to release that dopamine, and doing and completing projects is a great thing to do. Like just yesterday, I actually refinished a table that I got for free as like kind of a hand-me-down, and it was great. And afterwards I felt so proud of myself and I felt so good. Definitely lifted up my mood. So finding little projects like that to work on, things that you enjoy doing and things that will help you feel a sense of like completeness afterwards is like really good for helping to release that dopamine and help us combat these long winter months. Ah, another sketchy bridge. Look at this one. And then last thing, since we know that there is that gut-brain connection and a lot of our body's serotonin is actually made in our gut, you definitely have to pay attention and be mindful of your gut bacteria and the microbiome that's in your gut, making sure that that's healthy. So eating lots of fermented foods is one way to do it. You could also try and take some probiotics. Let's get on to the next question. All right, so this one's from Levi S. Derek, have you ever done any workouts for improving your neck? Example, neck curls. I think having a larger neck would help balance out your physique a bit, as your neck is a bit small and looks a tad out of place with the rest of your body. You may not think the same, I'm just giving my opinion, not trying to spread any hate. Anyways, I enjoyed the video and continue with the good content. Hopefully the weather improves for the next Ask Me Monday. All right, thanks for the question. And yeah, the weather has not improved for this Ask Me Monday. If anything, it's gotten worse. And this is not the trail I was on last time. All right, so no, I have not done any direct neck work, including neck curls. And apparently it shows because my neck has no gains. I've never really thought about it. I didn't really think that my body was big enough to sort of offset my normal size neck. But I guess apparently it is, and maybe I should start doing stuff. I know Jeff Nippert has some good videos on like neck curls and stuff, but it just seems like it's kind of dangerous and like it could damage your neck really easily. So that's kind of why I've never got into them, and it's also like not a very fun thing to train compared to like training other things. So yeah, I have not. I appreciate the constructive criticism on my physique though, and maybe I'll try and make some neck gains in the future, but I don't know. I think it's an okay size. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. All right, I'm in the middle of water. I don't even know how to get out of here. Oh man, I don't know. It's so easy to get lost in here. Like, look at this. I just walked a little bit off the path and like already no sign of any trail or anything like that. Oh my gosh. All right, so the next question comes from Cassandra Weishar. Hey Derek, recently I've been seeing floaters in my vision, so I got my eyes checked and they said I'm iron deficient. I've done my own research but wanted to also ask you, what are the best, highest iron-rich foods? All right. Let me just cross this log and I'll tell you. All right, so I've actually never heard of eye floaters being associated with iron deficiency. And it doesn't mean that it's not, I've just never heard that before. So definitely like make sure you get a blood test to make sure that you actually are iron deficient. To answer your question, some of the highest sources of iron in the plant food kingdom that we'll be eating in any reasonable amount. Like I always have to laugh when I see these like little infographics that are like, I don't know what it is, but some random food that you'd never eat any like large amount of has tons of iron in it. Like, oh, cloves have tons of iron, but it's like, who's gonna eat anything more than like 1 or 2 cloves? Like, it's not really practical. But anyways, beans, lentils, brown rice, oatmeal is another good one. Tofu is another really good one too. Blackstrap molasses, that's got a ton of iron in it. Although we're not gonna be eating a whole lot of blackstrap molasses, you know, at one time. It's not like you're gonna be eating like cups of this stuff, but it is a really good source of iron as well. And then nuts, seeds, whole grains, those are all really good sources too. But the one thing to pay attention to when you are consuming iron-rich foods is to also have them with a source of vitamin C. So things like broccoli, bell peppers, you know, persimmons, oranges, lemon juice, spinach, all that sort of stuff. As long as it's high in vitamin C, it will help you to absorb iron, and sometimes even as much as 5 times. So it's definitely worth it to get in those vitamin C and iron-rich foods together. Oh my gosh, back to this part. You know what? My feet are so wet that it doesn't even matter anymore. Actually, they're a lot more wet than they were. I thought they were already wet. They were just damp. Now they're soaking. Okay, anyways. Was that it for iron? I think so. Oh, you can also use a cast iron skillet. When people were asking me about what cookware is the best cookware to use, and I was doing some research on cast irons. Definitely a lot of evidence out there that shows that it can bring up your levels of iron. That's another one. So sometimes when your iron stores are so low, you will want to supplement to get those levels up quicker. And sometimes they're just so low that dietary interventions take far too long to bring your iron levels up. So don't be afraid to supplement with it if you have to, if your doctor recommends it. But if you do get a supplement, try and find one that comes from a natural source. Something like curry leaf is a really good natural source of iron, and it's potent and strong enough that they can like put it into a capsule and it will give you a good amount of it, and also not be constipating, because a lot of iron supplements when they're in higher higher doses, they can be quite constipating, and yeah, we definitely don't want that. Okay, this is crazy. You guys got to see how big these mushrooms are that are coming up here. Like, look at this one here. Like, look at the size of that. There's my hand. Look at the size of that mushroom. That is crazy. All right, and we got one from Plant-Based Happiness. Perfect timing, as I want to get started with calisthenics right now, as you should. My question for Ask Me Monday is, would you rather stretch before or after a workout? I would appreciate your opinion on that. Thank you for sharing, and keep it up. So, when talking about stretching and working out, you definitely want to do like the static stretches. So the ones where you're really focusing on lengthening the muscles and the tendons and everything. You want to focus on that type of stretching after the workout, once you're all warmed up. And before the workout, you want to do more dynamic type stretching. So, you know, things where you're just kind of moving your body around, getting loosened up. All right, so I got another question from Marcy Alley. Oh yeah, I like this one. So, because I'm a good Canadian boy here, I had to get a question on maple syrup in here. So the question is, I have a question. What is the difference between grade A and grade B and lighter colored and darker colored maple syrup? I always buy date and coconut syrup. Thank you so much, Derek. So the difference has to do with when the maple syrup is harvested. The the type of production and everything is exactly the same. The amount of sugar content is always exactly the same at just under 70%. But yeah, it really has to do with when it's harvested. So if it's harvested earlier in the season, so like right at the start of spring, at the end of winter, that's gonna be lighter maple syrup, and that's what usually they call like the grade A maple syrups. Has a lighter taste. And then the grade B is, and darker maple syrup is usually a lot darker, has a lot more maple flavor, and it's harvested later in the year. So yeah, those are the differences. I don't know if there's any sort of like nutritional differences or anything like that, but we shouldn't really be having maple syrup for the nutritional content, because it should be mentioned that maple syrup is a refined sugar, so we should limit our intake of that. But man, is it ever delicious stuff. Okay, well, I seemed to have forgot to put the last question on my phone, but I remember what it was about, and it was about recovery. Some lady was like, yeah, my husband's been working out lots lately, and he's having trouble with recovery. Do you know of any foods or anything that he can do to help himself with recovery? And luckily enough, I do. So Dr. Greger actually did a well-researched video on this lately on muscle recovery and performance, and some performance-enhancing foods. And a couple of them that he found were spinach being one, and then also like anti-inflammatory berries, tart cherry juice, grape juice was another one that seemed to help. And I'll play a clip from that video now where they talk about spinach, because it's like quite an incredible difference that they found.
Here's what happens when you run a half marathon without spinach. A big spike in oxidative stress, blood malonaldehyde levels that stays up hours or even days later. In the spinach group, the before and after 2 weeks of spinach doesn't seem to make much of a difference, but put the body under pressure. And then you can really see the difference. Your body is better able to deal with the stress.
So pretty amazing, and they found very similar results for the tart cherry juice and the grape juice as well, and I'll put a link to that video in the description down below if you want to check it out. And the reason why they use the juices, why they use tart cherry juice and grape juice instead of the whole foods, is because they are double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, and it's hard to give somebody a grape without them knowing that you're giving them a grape, unless it's in the form of like a juice or something, and that way they can give you the grape juice, and then maybe they could give somebody else, you know, some purple colored like sugar water or whatever, and they'll think that they're having grape juice. Anyways, so it really came down to those foods being quite high in anti-inflammatory compounds and also high in antioxidants, and that's what's helped to repair the muscle, but also to allow you to perform better. So there's lots of foods that we know of that are high in antioxidants and high in anti-inflammatory compounds, as many of the dark leafy greens are. Same with lots of berries as well. So definitely get those in you after a workout. Hopefully that'll help him out. One thing that I found to always help me was having like a big fruit smoothie soon after my workouts, and the reason I do that is to help replace the glycogen glycogen stores that have been lost in my muscles due to exercise. And you know, whole plant-based carbohydrate-rich foods are the best way to replenish those stores. So yeah, that's why I've always had like a big smoothie or smoothie bowl after my workouts, and I've always felt amazing. Very, very little delayed onset muscle soreness, except for leg day. Leg day always seems to get me the next day, but I think it's because those are like such big muscles and I go so dang hard. So that was the last question, and we finally made it to the boggy marsh. So I'll show you guys here, and I think this is where we're gonna end the video. Oh no! So I forgot to grab a memory card to put in the drone before I left the house. So I'm sorry, no drone footage in this week's Ask Me Monday, guys. Oh, this stuff drives me crazy. I try and remember everything. All right, so that's it. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I know that you guys who watch these Ask Me Mondays and stay tuned all the way until the end are super keen on your health, and I definitely respect that. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more from me, and leave your questions in the comment section down below for next week's Ask Me Monday. Much love to you guys. Get out there, get out in nature, and explore your surroundings. Much love, guys. See you soon.